What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Beard. So this go around, we've got more TikTok stuff. This time, though, is what do non-Americans think of Americans? Interested to see this because I've seen some interesting commentary in my videos. So there's a lot that not so favorable, some that are favorable, some that are mixed. So definitely want to see this.
What do you think of us? What is your impression of America?
Okay, so I know that you're not really talking to me because I'm from the US. I'm a US immigrant living in Costa Rica, and I've had plenty of opportunities to ask Costa Ricans, like, what do you think of people from the US? And because Ticos, the Costa Ricans, are such nice people, rarely will they say anything terrible. But those who work in customer service in call centers will tell you. It's pretty much a known fact that people from the US act like entitled brats.
No, can't see it whatsoever. Don't know what she's talking about. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
They do not understand our obsessions with guns. They think that we're rude and that we're loud. And while, yes, some people from Costa Rica do dream about living in the US, they dream about the romanticized version of it. They don't actually know what it's like. And I will say, the longer I live outside of the United States, I see what the rest of the world sees.
It seems like there's a lot of people that are like that too. That they live out once they start living outside the U.S. and they, like to tell us when you realize, America messed you up. They realize just how many flaws, and it's funny because she said the romanticized version, and that seems to be what's pitched to everybody. But yeah, that's okay. On par so far with what I'm hearing in my comments.
And it's not pretty. It's a country founded on racism and capitalism, and it's gross.
What do you think of us? What is your impression of America?
Okay, let me explain who I am first. Half Dutch, half Spanish, living in the Netherlands, 100% European. Here we go. America. As a child, it's the place you want to go, okay? It's the place you see in all the movies. It's the place you see in all the music videos. It's where all the crazy things happen. It's where everything that's ever been excited looks like it happens only there. Not true, but that's, as a kid, you get that image, right? And you kind of set your sights on it. That's the end goal. You want to go to America. That's the best place in the world. Then you grow up. You become an adult. You start looking at life more seriously and more objectively, and then you notice a lot of things going wrong there. Absolute first thing to say about America, guns, bro. Like, stop. There's a reason only.
So that's 2 in a row for guns. Yeah, okay.
3 countries in the world have that same structure, the right to bear arms bullshit, and 2 of those 3 are not first world countries. So, food for thought.
Sorry for the ding from Facebook. Didn't realize I hadn't taken it down yet.
Just saying. Your economy is absolutely gone to shit. I mean, the amount of money you have to spend on college or any education really is beyond absurdly high. It's stupid.
It's funny because I've had people in my comments talking about, oh, there's no reason why we should take and pay for college for people and blah, blah, blah. They don't quite realize that colleges, the state and federal funding that public colleges get, like the University of South Carolina or Clemson University, both public colleges, which means they're financed by the state. They're funded by the state, which means that money comes from your taxes. So you are still paying for people to go to fucking college because that loan money and that fucking tuition, the money that they take and give to kids for loans and stuff like that, part of that comes from your taxes. Just saying. Not only are they state funded, but they're federally funded. So your federal taxes also go towards college funding. So you are double paying. So now you want people that, especially if you live in state, you want to go to a public college, you should not have to pay tuition. I don't know why people can't understand this concept. They're state funded. They're federally funded. They get grants from the state for different educational programs. They get grants from federal for research purposes and things of that nature. And they also get grants from the federal government for building or for academic purposes. But not only do they have those, but they also have former alumni that they can pay or that do donations. Some of them take it do yearly, some of them do monthly. Like, you get stuff like that. Why should someone who's of age to work and go to college, number one, not take and go to an in-state publicly funded college for free because it's already funded by your tax dollars? They don't pay tuition because they're in-state students. It makes sense. You've already paid for their education anyways in the 20 years that you've been working, and now that you're bitching because you don't understand how that shit works. But hey, I'm just a simple man. What the fuck do I know, right?
You got student loans, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what y'all have to pay for school, and that just goes to show how, well, absolutely fucked your economy is. The fact that, like, how many tips you gotta give in restaurants anytime you go out because the wait staff is so criminally underpaid.
Well, that's because that's still, like we've touched on before, it's actually based and rooted in racist practices, from back in just after the slavery days here in the U.S., where they didn't want to take and pay former slaves' wages, so people could tip them and they had to live off the tips. Yeah, same fucking difference.
That they can't sustain themselves.
Well, not the same difference, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you basically, people are depending on the kindness of others, basically, because they're getting $2.15 or $2.50 or $2.30 an hour.
You don't just cover the difference between what they get paid by the employer and what you got to give them. Just saying, like, healthcare. Oh my God, dude, seriously? The healthcare is absolutely gone to even further of a shit than your economy.
And it's funny because the schools and the healthcare aren't even, like, if we cut out, $700, $800 billion for defense funding. We got over 1,000 bases worldwide. Like, I think we got over, it's quite a few. I know it's over 1,000 bases that we have, like, worldwide, is my understanding. $700, $800 billion of our budget, $1 trillion budgets, go to defense spending. How about this? Cut it in half, $350 billion for defense. You'll still take and be having a bigger defense budget than Russia or China. That other $350 billion could go towards healthcare, like setting up a good, universal system, or towards education. Things that just make you go,
Because the bills that come out of hospitals there, nah, man. Like, you've seen how many other countries have this perfectly under control. I'm not afraid to go to the hospital. I can go whenever the fuck I want. I'm covered by paying like $100 a month in healthcare insurance. Like, that's it. I'm covered. No fear whatsoever. And yeah, so just to name a few, because I don't want to rant for too long. I'm just saying, like, as far as the people go, the Americans themselves, there's good people and bad people, like in every other country, right? We got good and bad people.
I like his objective outlook and, like, listings of the policy failures that are here, and not going after people itself. Because we do have a bunch of dumbasses that are here, but we also got some really nice folks that are here. Like, I like the objective outlook he's got.
People, the next country got good and bad people. Y'all have good and bad people. But the general image of Americans, the stereotypical Americans, honestly, I'm sorry, but it's not a very good image. It's kind of like close-minded, prone to like anger a lot, and like a little bit too proud of a country you did absolutely nothing to build up. It's like, yeah, your forefathers did, not you, so don't.
He's not entirely wrong. I mean, there's a lot of that, again, but that goes back to the American exceptionalism dogma that's pushed from birth.
I'm just saying.
And if you know anybody outside of America, please tag them. What do you think of us?
Your seemingly contradictory ability to be completely obsessed with yourself and totally oblivious of yourself at the same time is somewhat impressive. And the amount...
Okay, I like that. Yes, that is 100%. Yes.
Contradictory ability to be completely obsessed with yourself and totally oblivious of yourself at the same time is somewhat impressive. And the amount of pro-nationalist American propaganda that the average American seems to regard as totally normal is frankly worrying. I mean, the fact that you have the need to put the flag on almost every street corner and you have a picture.
Bro, that's part of the American religion. Because let's not take and kid ourselves. When I say dogma, I'm talking about like a religious style cultish, almost dogmatic pushing, and the flag ties completely into that. There's a difference between being patriotic, proud of your country, you want the best for your country. Difference between that and understanding the realities of what's in your country. You don't have to have the flag on everything. We know what the fuck it is. Government buildings, if you want to have it on a, run up a flagpole outside your house, cool beans. Put your favorite team up underneath it, your favorite NASCAR driver flag up underneath it. Cool beans. We get, it doesn't have to be on everything, and it seemingly does, especially, yeah.
Picture of the president in almost every classroom. Every time someone kicks or throws a ball, you have to stop and sing the national anthem first. And you seem to regard questioning or criticizing your military as a cardinal sin, which is terrifying. I think if more of you travel...
Well, see, it's not so much here. Like, I have no problem with our military. It's the leaders. Because the guys in the military, they're just following orders. You can be given bad orders, and if you don't follow them, well, then you take and get put in a brig, and you get harsher sentences. You can be used as scapegoats and stuff. But they're also lied to as a reason why they take and go into different places. A lot. So there's also that. So propaganda runs deep, dude. Like, for real. So as far as military members themselves, I'm not going to take and diss the military members. The leaders of the military, totally different fucking story. Part of the problem is for our military is we've got politicians that run the military, and we've got people that, generals and stuff like that, at a certain point, they become political. Like, they play politics, and it's just, that's got no place within in a military setting. It doesn't. I don't like the way we use our military. I could say that to folks, and I'm going to get bitched at about that. Oh, you're anti... No, stupid fuck. It's not that I'm anti-military. I'm anti the way we use our military a lot of times. We've created more terrorists while being terrorists ourselves in a lot of other countries. So, sue me.
Traveled the world more, you would find that you have a lot more in common with backwards dictatorships than hopefully you'd be comfortable with.
Tag them. What
About the last 25 years, we've resembled a banana republic. Just saying.
do you think of us? What do you...
Okay. Yeah, none of those are very flattering whatsoever.
You think of us? What is your impression of America?
Okay. I saw this one TikTok and it perfectly described you guys. So you know that cartoon show, TV series, The Avatar? Yeah, that one. You guys are basically the Fire Nation. The leader makes you think you're the greatest in the world and you have the best military power and you have to show it off to the other nations. But the other nations don't want you. You start wars, but your leader says it's okay, so you think you're doing good. Even when Aang went to the Fire Nation to school, you had to stand up for the leader and talk to the leader and stuff like that. You guys do that in school. Also, I look like Lord Farquaad with his hair. Anyways, Americans, now you know you guys...
He's not wrong on any of that. Like, that's pretty apt fucking correlation, in my opinion. The Lord Farquaad part. Oh my god.
Are the Fire Nation. But if you move to Europe or anywhere in the world, you are Zuko, and everyone loves Zuko.
I've been waiting for this one. If you don't know me, my name is Ashley, and here are my qualifications. 1, I'm American. 2, no longer lives in America. And let me tell you something, I never pretended like I thought everyone in the world loved Americans, right? We all know that's not true, right? You do know that, right? But it's brutal. I'm not gonna lie, it's brutal. Firstly, they think you're stupid. And to be honest, the longer I live outside of America, the more I agree with them. But before you come at me, let me explain why. For background, I now live in the UK. But yeah, stupid's number one. 2, we're noisy and we lack complete etiquette, especially at the dinner table. 3, we're over patriotic. Did you know it's against the flag's code to
that right, the overpay, and again, it goes that dogmatic, but ignoring all negative parts of our history. Now that started to change here in the last about 7 to 10 years. Like there's more of an emphasis on like, nah, man, this wasn't copacetic back in the day, and there's a lot of tie-ins, stuff being vestiges of the negative history that's been on display for everybody to see as almost like, ha ha. That's being done away with, like being taken out of the public eye, being put in museums and stuff like that. But the ignoring all of, and it's even more than that, because nobody wants to look at the meddling that we've done in Iran and Central America and the rest of the Middle East. Like I mean that's part of the symptoms of the dogma.
Especially at the dinner table. 3, we're over patriotic. Did you know it's against the flag's code to make bedding and clothing out of the American flag?
Most people don't know that. But yes.
And yet it's everywhere. But also, it wasn't until last year that I realized that no one else pledged allegiance to the flag. And when you really think about it, how culty and like is that? 4, we're self-centered. Like God chose the president, or we were the key factor in winning World War II. 5, we refer to it.
Yeah, that one cat talking about we saved Europe, World War II. I got a heck of a lot of commentary on that one video, and rightfully so, because he's an idiot. But yeah, she's spot on. Like a lot of this, I've seen a lot of the same stuff in my comment section. She's hitting them more on point than some of the others, but some of their perspectives were pretty neat to take in here as well.
Attached to heritage. Why is everyone 12% Italian? Number 6, why? Will you hold up, cat? Why does the government make decisions for abortions? That's not even a topic of discussion here.
And that shouldn't be the case, because under the 9th Amendment, whatever powers aren't given to the state or to the federal government revert to the people. That's one of those things that fall under a personal freedom that's granted under the Constitution. They've got no business taking and dictating when, how, or who can take and get an abortion. None whatsoever. I personally, on a personal level, disagree with abortion. However, it's not up to me to go, you can't fucking do that. Now, fuck that. If you feel like you need it, who the fuck am I to say you can't fucking have that shit? There's a reason why, and it's not up for me to fucking ask. As much as I might disagree with the practice itself, I'm not living in that person's shoes. Why the fuck am I going to take and be like, nah, you can't fucking do? Fuck that shit. If my own daughters, if they were to take and wind up pregnant, they felt they needed an abortion or they wanted an abortion because of whatever fucking reason, I would hope that if they don't live around me to where they can either be like, well, fuck all that. If they don't want to fucking carry, I would hope that they have access to a place where they can safely get it done and don't have to take and rely on going to a backstreet fucking doctor or stick a fucking coat hanger up their hoo-ha and possibly hurt themselves or worse. Why even personal beliefs should never play into what the fuck you want to take and put on somebody else. That's absolute fucking garbage reasoning. That's one of the reasons why I cannot stand it's the reason why I can't stand neither one of the parties in this fucking country. Because they always want to put their fucking viewpoints on somebody else and turn it into a fucking law.
Everyone I talk to about Roe v. Wade over here is so confused why it's even a case. why it's even in the government's hands at all. 7, why guns? Especially why guns after so many mass shootings, and especially school shootings. 8, why so much rape culture? 9, why so much serial killer culture? But more specifically, the fans, like the collectors of serial killers.
That weirds me out too. I don't quite understand that at all. Like, they're in prison for a reason. They're psychopaths. And you're celebrating them? Are you a psychopath?
Like the murderer's memorabilia kind of thing. And 10, most importantly to the Brits, why do Americans think that they can outdrink anyone else? Especially the Brits. Because let me tell you, you can't and you won't. In all honesty, I totally forgot to even mention healthcare, which is a whole nother video on its own. Actually, each one of these points could be a video on its own. Actually, I could make entire videos of each and every one of these points. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but these are just the facts. The facts being what other countries, specifically Brits, think of us Americans. So let me know if you want more parts.
And if you know anybody outside of America, please tag them. What do you think of us?
So here's the humble opinion of a Canadian citizen. I may not represent all Canadians.
Oh, he's got to see us as the fucking meth lab on the bottom floor of the apartment building. Like, they definitely keep their windows closed and their doors locked.
But I do hate the United States of America. It's not their domestic problems like their fascist police state, their racism, their sexism, their homophobia, their transphobia. It's not their non-existent healthcare or their inaccessible education. Or the fact that their country is built on the foundation of millions of corpses of black and brown and indigenous people. It's not their imperialism, dictatorships they've sponsored.
Going back to the whole racism thing with the indigenous, adding in the indigenous people, the racism thing, horrible. The indigenous people thing, horrible. But not like the indigenous people of Canada didn't die as well. Just throwing that out there.
The millions they've killed and crippled, the governments they've overthrown and forced to bend to their will. It's not the fact that they've created a military empire that spans the entire globe and keeps us all in line. No, what does it for me is that the American people can live in a country that is so broken and far beyond repair and still somehow think that they are free and protect the so-called freedom of everyone under their boot. So yeah, you guys suck.
Well, he didn't take and hold back at all. Tell us how you really feel. Jesus Christ. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, this is stuff that, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a card-carrying patriot. Now, still, I love my country. I do. I love my country. I don't like the shit that we've done. I love the people of this country more than I love the government and the shit that we've done. Like, for real. He's not wrong what the fuck soever, though. It's... And going back to the whole indigenous thing, while they weren't slaughtered in the same way in Canada as they were here in the U.S., there was a lot of warring with them. Not as much as there was here in the U.S., but there was betrayals. They also fell victim to diseases that were brought over by Europeans. Like, there was... Yeah, that wasn't quite the type of genocide that was here in the U.S., but there were still, yeah. Even with treaties and stuff and protections from the crown and stuff, they're, yeah. So, it's not exactly peachy. It's not as horrible as it was here, but it's not exactly peachy, all right? So, again, as I said, it's not as horrific as it was here, but it happened. So, hands aren't exactly clean. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's been atrocities. I think any nation that's been colonized by any other nation, there's atrocities that fucking happen. Like, it's just the way shit goes for some reason. But yeah, he's 100% correct though. And all of these people, like the stuff they point out, it's not really disheartening. I mean, it's more of like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, man. It really does. Which is, I don't know, more disheartening as an American to take and be like, yeah, they see it. A lot of my countrymen can't. A lot of this stuff. So, yeah. That being said, y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.